Hi, I'm Zero, and this is what Deku had Wolverine and Taskmaster's power. We left off while Izuku, you know, just did his bone hardening training for 6 months straight, and Izuku is still, 11, and in middle of 12, 11, 12. You get the gist of it. Izuku has, did his bone hardening training. His bones are much more stronger. Having much stronger bones had made Izuku a lot more bigger and also made his punches also give him more strength. After that, for another 6 months, Izuku started doing his golden body training. In golden body training, Izuku simply hits himself with pretty hard metal bat or something on his weakest point of his body, like his head that can make him go unconscious there, and basically hits himself on every part of his body and his back to make his body a lot more stronger. He does that for 6 months straight. He has, as I said, decreased his physical training, but not as much, but a little bit decrease in physical training, but his uh, physical training and his appearance and his muscles don't take too much effect on it. They just won't get bigger, but they will stay like that. Even if he didn't train, he will lose some of his muscle, but still. That's why he keeps on doing a little bit of training. Now after the 6 month, Izuku has also completed his bone hardening training and his golden body training, making his body much more stronger. It basically, you know, Izuku basically took an entire year to make his body stronger, much more stronger. It's very hard for a knife to penetrate Izuku's body now, as simple as that. Much more harder. His body is basically uh, covered in armor, kind of. His muscle is armor, and his skin is also a lot more harder than naturally it should be. And now Izuku is 12 to 13. After that, we will do a time skip. Katsuki hasn't fought with him or even tried to. Katsuki has been training on his own. We will go there later. And now Izuku has. Now we go to directly when Izuku is 15 and teacher comes and does you know throws his papers up of saying what I know everyone want to be a hero. And now in this time, Izuku, as I said, is 14 or 15. Whenever Izuku was, let me check. Yeah, Izuku is 14 at the start of the anime. So basically, Izuku knows every fighting style on earth. He's master of fighting. He's also learned several military, fighting techniques, like very advanced fighting technique that doesn't come in martial arts. Pretty much military seal type of training, how to fight, how to disarm knives. Izuku has also learned how to use guns by looking at understanding about different kind of guns, different kind of weapons. Izuku has gone to coding and he's pretty good at hacking. He's not the best, but he's pretty good at hacking. He can hack something, but he doesn't do it, so he doesn't have the experience needed for it. He can hack into things if he wants, but he does not. And Izuku is quite smart, strong. Izuku is about 6 feet now currently, and Izuku is still 14, and Izuku is 6 feet. His body has gotten more durable thanks to golden body and bone hardening training, and his regeneration is still the same. His regeneration did slow down his aging, similar to Logan's aging. The Wolverine. He will be able to live more than two to 300 years easily, without growing old. Mainly Logan got old in the Old Man Logan movie because vibranium decreased his what you call mutant capabilities. But thanks to Izuku actually having a quirk except for mutant capability, even if Izuku gets vibranium added into his skeleton, he won't die from it, because the more you use quirk, the more stronger it will become. It doesn't decrease in power, it pretty much just gets stronger. Wolverine's mutant regeneration got slower because it was continuously fighting vibranium poisoning or metal poisoning, because he had a skeleton made up of adamantium. So yeah, and it gotten weaker over time. But Izuku has a core, it will not be going being weaker over time, it will only going more stronger. And Izuku is at the peak of human potential. He has pretty much made his muscles as hard as steel thanks to golden body training, and his strength is even greater, as great as someone who had a strength quirk. So yeah, he's pretty damn strong. And Izuku sits at the back, looks out the window like a normal shonen protagonist should. And every MC does that. So yeah, Izuku's doing that. Bakugo does his speech, but it's not that arrogant. He doesn't include Izuku in any matter of way because he remembers the beatdown Izuku does. Izuku's beatdown are not, look that harmful to people who are watching it, but to someone who's he giving them, because he's attacking the main points of human body, the points that gives the most pain. Because Izuku has knowledge of atom, human body, a lot of knowledge on human body, because Izuku wanted to gain knowledge that which muscle is weak, which muscle is strong. And Izuku has worked every single muscle on his body. Even if you kick him between the legs, it won't work. Izuku is just strong, I mean very strong. And now we cut to Katsuki. In this year, Katsuki has started doing martial art classes because he wants to create a martial art that's benefit for him. And he's been doing physical training and quirk training. So Katsuki is a lot more buffer, a lot more taller, and a lot more stronger, much more stronger in this one. But he's also less arrogant because Izuku was there to put him in his place every time he got out of it. And so Izuku pretty much just doesn't even focus on teachers saying what you when teacher comes and says, what do you want to do, everyone? He just says, just kidding, I know all of you want to be a hero. Then he throws the paper of words. Then Katsuki does his speech. After that, when the school ends and everything, uh, because this time no one laughed when teacher said that Izuku will be going to the UA. Oh, shit, that came out of nowhere. That Izuku will be going to UA because they know Izuku is strong, very strong. So yeah, because even if Katsuki doesn't fight Izuku, some of their upperclassmen does try to fight Izuku, because Izuku pretty much sits on the last bench at the corner like he owns the place. He doesn't care. He's laid back, but he also has a short temper similar to Wolverine. I think so. Short temper comes with the healing factor of Wolverine, but I guess so. Believe as you will. So yeah, and as I said, Izuku's spine is different now, as I showed you in the previous video. That's Izuku's spine. Izuku's muscles are a lot more naturally. Even his muscles have gotten more denser than a human. That kind of harsh, training Izuku put himself through, because Izuku can just heal from it. And so Izuku goes, stirs up, leaves. Katsuki just, comes to bully him because he knows he will get his ass beat. Because he knows Izuku is a better fighter than him. Because, and even if, Izuku hits it, even if, Katsuki hit Izuku can just heal. Because Katsuki kind of doesn't know about, his limitations of his healing quirk. So Katsuki wants to figure, the limitations out of his healing quirk. So yeah, Izuku pretty much leaves, While he's going, he still takes a shortcuts. He can sense the sludge villain because he can sense people because he has learned a lot about hunting. Sometimes whenever he's going into the city for training purposes as well, he closes his eyes and tries to just go home while just based on his all five all four senses, because fifth is sight and he's closing his eyes. He's basically using his hearing and smell. He does have enhanced hearing and smell, not as good as Wolverine's, but a lot better than a human. So yeah, because he only has Wolverine's healing factor, and that's as a quirk, not as a mutation. So it won't be growing weaker over time. It will be only growing more stronger. So yeah, Izuku goes under the bridge. Izuku senses someone because he can hear him and kind of sense him as well. Izuku dodges the first attack, by flipping, because Izuku does gymnastic as well. He wants to keep the flexibility up as well. Izuku is a lot more muscular and he's also flexible. So yeah, he's basically all the shit Captain America has, but on steroids, because his regeneration is even higher than Captain America. Has superhuman strength, because Izuku does has superhuman strength, and bone hardening and golden body training made his durability even higher than Captain America, even higher than Wolverine, except for his adamantium skeleton. His normal physical durability has gotten more higher. His skin is a lot more harder, so it's pretty hard to penetrate. So yeah, basically that. And Izuku is fast. I mean, insanely fast. He's basically like a Minato. He's fast, but he's also strong, like Tsunade. He's basically a mix of Minato and Tsunade combined together, lower their speed and strength, and you got Izuku. Izuku has the strength of someone who's a actual bodybuilder, even higher strength. As I said, he has superhuman strength, speed, and other things. So yeah, he's quite strong and fast. That's what all I'm trying to say. And so as soon as Azuku sees the sludge villain who attacked him, because he didn't knew, damn it, sorry about that, because he didn't knew what was attacking him and who was attacking him, but he just sensed that someone was attacking him, so he dodged. As soon as he glances at Sludge Villain, he realizes that he can't beat him, because only thing he can do is throw, punch, kick, and all the things can easily be nullified thanks to the Sludge Villain. So Izuku is using his gymnastics, speed, strength to pretty much maneuver around the under the bridge easily, like doing gymnastic flips, dodging every single one of them, because Izuku's senses are pretty much at beyond inhuman maximum. So yeah, All Might comes. Before All Might says I am here, All Might sees Izuku fight, pretty much dodge all the attack. All Might thinks, why isn't he attacking? Then All Might realizes, does he know that it won't work? And then All Might says, I am here, and punches, creates shockwave. Sludgevillain goes flying, and All Might is kind of shocked because Izuku was able to tank the shockwave. He did go, pushed back, but he didn't, flew like Sludgevillain. He stood there, thanks to, him being strong and all that. And Izuku's hair are black, as I said before. And he has green eyes, no whiskers. So yeah, he's quite good looking person. And then he looks, oh, All Might. Izuku is fan of All Might, but he's also a lot more serious. He's managed to, gain emotional control. And he is not as big of a fan of heroes or villains or vigilantes. He's basically someone who does whatever he pleases, like it. That's the best I can put it. And so yeah, All Might, comes to, oh, you have done well, young one. Then All Might like, what's your name? Izuku Midoriya. All Might would nod and say. Then All Might would look carefully at Izuku and he will see his muscles. He's 6 feet, he's muscular, I mean, raw muscle. I would say he has 10% body fat on his body. And other is just raw muscle. Raw muscle. You know how Wolverine and Taskmaster's clothes can, show their muscles? Yeah, Izuku is something like that, but not as muscular as them, but a lot more muscular than, his child. Someone from his age should be. Then All Might, asked Izuku about his quirk. Izuku says my quirk is called healing factor or regeneration. All Might is intrigued, so All Might starts to, talk with Izuku for a little bit, very little bit. Uh, Izuku pretty much has it all my that my quirk is regeneration, so based on regeneration I start training from a young age. Thanks to regeneration I can build up muscle a lot, and I naturally had a little bit of superhuman strength, and now it's even greater. All Might would think and say this is the best, one for all, uh, you know, successor I can find, because healing factor, minor level of superhuman strength, even if it's minor, it's there, and he's ready for it. It's muscular, raw muscle, and he has regeneration, so if he breaks it he can just heal from it. So yeah, All Might is kind of happy, a lot happy, a lot happy basically. So yeah, and Izuku also tells All Might that I have mastered every single fighting style known to man. Now this All Might doesn't believe him, but he kind of doesn't think too much of it. Maybe thinks maybe he's mastered 3 or 4 of them, but unknowing to him, he has mastered every single fighting style on Earth, even few ancient one as well. How samurais fight. Izuku has seen it, learned it. Izuku knows how to use a sword because he used a wooden sword to train. Basically, a wooden stick he found in the forest. He does go to forest to train sometimes to push his body, and he can destroy a tree with just his punch. That's how great of a super strength he has, and he doesn't care about getting his hands hurt because he can just heal from it. So yeah, and then All Might pretty much puffs in front of, no, scratch that. All Might doesn't poof in front of, Izuku. All Might picks up the sludge villain and jumps off. Well, jumps off, he's going and his timers, you know, beeps. He realizes that he has few seconds. So he, in a hurry, looks at, and lands on the roof, the same roof. But then, he puffs away, he checks his pocket and sludge villain is gone, because All Might, when he was, in a hurry looking for a place to land, by mistake he dropped it. And then, after that, an explosion happens. Thanks to Izuku having, superhuman hearing and, scent and all five senses on superhuman, he can see in night as well. Not as good, but he can see in darkness. But he can see it, but, he can see it, so it's better than, having nothing. So, yeah. Basically, Izuku runs towards it because Izuku, still keeps his heroic traits, but they are, watered down a lot. He's a much better thinker. He can analyze the situation just like he, if he had Sharingan, he can analyze things a lot more faster than normal people would. Izuku pretty much, makes it at there after All Might does in his skinny form, and All Might thinks, damn, I'm a loser. How couldn't I do it? And Katsuki, still gets captured. Izuku sees this. Izuku pretty much, goes in front of the crowd and looks at them. He starts analyzing the situation instantaneously. Izuku looks at heroes, they are not doing anything. Izuku looks at Katsuki's face. It's a fear. Izuku just sighs and runs off, you know, towards Katsuki, not away from him, to save him. Then Izuku pretty much, throws his book back towards the sludge villain and hits the eye, but he has a pencil in his hand. Then he throws the pencil and hits the sludge man, sludge villain in his another eye as well, making him completely blind. And then Izuku runs up, grabs Katsuki, and rips him out of it. And he can rip him out of it because he has superhuman strength. Basically, because Sledgeman was kind of purely blind, so he was not, focusing on grabbing and keeping Katsuki, inside of him and devouring him. He was basically making sure that he can see as fast as he can. In that time of distraction, Izuku used to, pretty much strip Katsuki out and threw him towards the heroes. And he could throw him because he was using his own momentum as a leverage to throw Katsuki even further. Because Izuku didn't, stop running, you know, to stop running and then push him out. Izuku was using his momentum of running and grab Katsuki and just did a 360 with his body and ripped Katsuki off of Sledgeham's grasp. When Izuku throw him, Izuku starts to run, and Izuku does manage to run. Sledgehammer did try to attack Izuku, but Izuku was able to dodge. Even Izuku was not looking at Sledgehammer, but he was able to dodge. And some of the heroes were shocked, like, does he have eyes on his back or something? Then Sledgehammer tried to attack Izuku. Izuku starts to dodging it gracefully and pretty easily. Then All Might comes, uses his punches, creates a shockwave and wind tornado thing, and then rains. All the heroes kind of would have scold Izuku, but they can kind of see everything was under his control. He was even able to dodge the sludge monster easily, and so they are kind of confused that they don't know what to do. Should we scold him or say good work? Before they can try even scolding him, All Might comes and says, well done, young child, or student, you did well, you took care of the villain. Then All Might praises Bakugo. When all the reporters start look away from All Might to interview the kid to know what his core case is, Izuku is already gone. And after that, they police pretty much takes the sludge villain, and All Might jumps off to find Izuku. All Might does the same thing, slides, but Izuku knew All Might was coming. He could sense him because he kind of, can sense All Might's aura, because All Might has aura of power. He sensed the aura of power coming, towards from left side of the alley or road, and then All Might slides off, puffs, coughs, and Izuku says, "What's up, All Might?" All Might says, "Aren't you surprised that I'm in this form?" Izuku says, "Oh, I was able to sense your aura, that you had the same aura until you just puffed away." And that aura also puffed away. Then All Might tells Izuku about his injury and all that. All Might Izuku knows, and All Might says, "So is Izuku Midoriya, or young Midoriya, will you be taking one for all?" Izuku has already gone through several, simulations of him not taking it and taking it, and how to make different choices with it. And he's gone through that while, All Might was, you know, saying these words like, "So young Midoriya, will you be taking this quirk or not?" And then All Might pauses for 3 seconds. In those just 5 seconds, Izuku went through hundreds of simulations of if he did that, if he did that, if he did that. So yeah, it says, "Okay, All Might, I shall take your quirk, named One for All." All Might would just smile because All Might can see Izuku has the spirit of a hero, but he doesn't smile. Then after that, All Might says, "Why don't you smile?" Izuku says, "Well, because my hero costume has a mask, so it doesn't matter if I smile or not." All Might just says, "Okay, I guess that makes sense." Because he has a smile. Who's gonna see a smile when he's wearing a mask? And Izuku prefer to stay stone face. And as I said, he has a greater emotional control than a lot of people. And so he goes home. His mother is slim. She's not fat, one fat virgin. She's slimmer, and she's also a lot more fitter. She does exercise a little, not as much as Izuku, but just a little, every Sunday, push-ups, sit squats, because she can see Izuku does exercise all the time. Whenever she sees him, he just doing push-ups, sit-ups, and all that. So that kind of, kind of became her habit as well, because Izuku does have weights at home that he bought, and he does wear. He used to wear, weights that I said that he made for himself. They were not as heavy as All Might's were, but they were heavy enough that it will weigh him down, and he wore those weights for about a year while he was or 2 years, and he removed them the last day of his high school, the day of the sludge and everything. So today was the day he was not wearing weight. So yeah, he has superhuman strength, speed, and all the stuff that comes with being a superhuman, and durability and all that stuff. So yeah, and so All Might pretty much tells Izuku to meet him at the Dekuba beach. Izuku says, "Okay, All Might." And so Izuku goes to the next day at Dekuba beach. All Might tells him to clean it to see if he is totally ready for it. Izuku knows he is ready for it, but he just doesn't mind that much of it. He says, whatever. And so Izuku starts to clean up the trash. It only took him about a week, and he was able to complete the entire trash, because every time he was you know trained basically. Muscle got torn apart. They healed. He got a little bit more stronger. He didn't got too much stronger from it. He got about 25% more powerful than what he was originally, because this is kind of light exercise for what kind of exercise Izuku does at home is much worse than this. And so All Might, pretty much after week of All Might testing Izuku, gives Izuku his one for all and does, "Here, eat this," by plucking his hair. Izuku makes a face of disgust, and All Might is kind of choked, like, and kind of also surprised that he's actually can show emotions, because All Might has only seen Izuku with stone face. Yeah, stone face Izuku. So now it's Izuku with emotion Izuku. So yeah, that's kind of different for All Might, but uh, there's just Izuku just stays silent for a few seconds. He takes a toffee, a candy from his pocket, opens it, takes the hair, wraps around the candy, and eats it. Then pretty much straight in, because he said, "I'm not eating the hair like that. I won't be able to. I will throw up." Alma thinks that's a great idea. I should keep that in mind. And so the next day, All Might tells Izuku to you know tighten his butt cheeks and throw a punch at towards the sea. Izuku says, "Okay." Izuku does as All Might says. Izuku pretty much imagine all the power coming to his arm, and he throws it, and Izuku breaks his arm. Even if he has done bone hardening training, the power amount of power that One for All has is still great. He just breaks it. He didn't just completely shatter it like in the original. He just broke it. His hand just from a few places was broken and bruised. And after 5 seconds, it healed completely. Was like non-existent damage that was done to Izuku's arm. 5 to 6 seconds. So yeah, there's that. All Might is shocked, like, okay, this kid's regeneration is insanely good. And so then Izuku starts to ask All Might, "How do you use the One for All? Because as you can see, I am pretty much getting hurt." Then All Might says, "I'll do this and do this," giving his explanation of wine, microwave, what he did in the original. I never understood it. And so then Izuku asks, "So how? So now you told me that you were injured. How do you buff up?" Then All Might says, "Oh, I just simply use One for All and buffs up." Izuku, thanks to having Taskmaster's capability, he was able to figure that out much, much more early. It says, "Okay, I get it. You're putting One for All around your body." All Might is like, "Yeah, basically." As well as, "Why did you just tell me this early?" All Might says, "I didn't." Izuku just sighs, whatever. Then Izuku tries it. It's hard for him at first. On his third to fifth try, he was able to, manage it all around his body. And he can use 8% fun for all now, easily. I mean, without having, not even seeing, without even concentrating. So now, about, the 10-month training past that time they had. Izuku has been training with, All Might on, mastering One for All. And Izuku hasn't gained, the Black Whip yet. Should I give him Black Whip now, or should I give him, after, the entrance exam? Because in the manga or anime, when Izuku pretty much, mastered One for All at 30%, he already had Black Whip. I don't currently remember what actual percentage you need to be able to use Black Whip, but I think the 30% is something like that. Izuku can use 30% easily, and he is not even as buff as All Might, but he can use it because he basically turns it on and lets his body get used to One for All. Mainly, Izuku is not as good at One for All as he could be because he doesn't focus on One for All too much. He's focusing on something else. He's focusing on how to use a sword properly. Basically, he knew how to use a sword, how to swing properly, but he didn't master it. Now, in the 10 months, Izuku has mastered every single weapon. How to use a bow staff, how to use, the two small sticks that Black Widow uses, something like that, and how to use swords, tools, wielding, and all that. And Izuku has also learned archery, similar to Taskmaster. And Izuku has mastered all of that in the 10 months, so that's why Izuku can only use about 30% One for All. And now Izuku wants to, focus on his different part of him, his brain. And now 1 week is left before the entrance exam begins. Izuku basically goes to library and starts to read because thanks to having literally photographic memory, Taskmaster's capability is kind of literally insanely, photographic memory on steroids. Basically, much higher level of photographic memory. So yeah, he basically in a week Izuku reads half of the library, half of it, not full, half of it, and he knows a lot of it. He's also a veterinarian now because he knows about human body a lot more, also animal body and all that. I'm pretty sure Izuku can perform a perfect surgery now because he has read books about doctor and all that surgery. So yeah. And so I won't be doing the entrance exam in this video. I will doing it tomorrow because I will just go over Katsuki's training. Katsuki has mastered his quirk in much higher level. He's basically at the level in which he was while they were training, when to train for their quirks. He's at that level and this early at the stage. All the US students will be getting buff after they meet Izuku, because Izuku is a literal monster, and All Might says that to Izuku that you're literally a monster because Izuku actually knows how to fight. He's master of hand-to-hand combat. He naturally had superhuman strength, senses, and all that. Adding that, enhancing with with his One for All, he is inhumane. And one more thing, Izuku's healing quirk. You know how you had One for All, and your quirk have a evolution, they become more stronger. Guess what happens when you have a healing factor as great as Wolverine? Yeah, his healing factor is now gotten way up, way up. He has basically a Wolverine and Deadpool's healing factor combined now in his own body. And healing factor grows stronger as the time goes by. So yeah, his healing speed that took basically a single second, and broken arm that took 5 seconds to heal, now broken arm takes a single second to heal, and cuts, well, they never cuts heal as the knife is going through the skin. That's how great the healing factor has become. In all my things, I might have created a monster. But he's kind of happy because he knows Izuku will not turn on. Because in the past 10 months, Izuku and All Might have gotten a lot more closer. A lot more closer. So yeah. Because All Might can kind of, fight with Izuku actually, because Izuku knows how to actually fight. And he was already, prepared for it. His body was naturally ready for one for all. So yeah, All Might is not, that what you call tense about Izuku going rogue or something. And one for all grows stronger as the time passes by, or it's just that as you pass it on. I will say it also grows stronger when time passes by as well, but thanks to only have but when you pass it by you can make it stronger much more faster. With time it takes a little bit slower, but it can grow more stronger. So yeah, remember that. Now basically, I'm pretty sure, if you don't know, Deadpool can live up to. I'm pretty sure the oldest Deadpool that I read in a comic was when Deadpool was about 800 years old. And Deadpool's healing factor was also gotten weaker, just like Wolverine's healing factor, because basically um, on Deadpool's cancer and his healing factor was having a tug of war. So as time passes by, Deadpool's healing factor also gotten decreased a lot. And now when it comes to Izuku, Izuku has a quirk, not a healing factor. So yeah, if you know what I'm going with this, you are pretty smart. If you don't, try looking up about Deadpool and Wolverine's healing factor and combine them together to see what I'm about to do. But yeah, I'll reveal it in the next. And I won't be making any OCs, outside characters. I won't be adding my own characters. I will be only using the characters that already exist. The ship, I have no idea which one I'm gonna pull from. Maybe I'll go for a harem, or maybe something else. Comment down below. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with it. And yeah, I won't be as I said in video before this, the first part of what if Deku had Wolverine and Taskmaster's power. I won't be posting any other series until I complete this, because that's kind of my flow. I just throw series around and never complete it because I kind of forgot about them. Yeah. So I'm gonna complete this. I will be posting 2 videos every single day now. So yeah. Comment down below if you want a harem or a ship or a dual ship. I don't know. I personally prefer to do a dual ship. It's more fun, or maybe triple ship. If you want, it can be a harem because Izuku will be, I'll tell that part in the next part. Okay then, sayonara, or like and subscribe. I have no idea why did I say sayonara. I'm insane. Well, whatever.